the Queen got the good news. The Mail Online described as the perfect tonic as she battled coronavirus after her whole scheme could dine won at Newbury Racecourse. The 95-year-old monarch is currently in isolation at Windsor Castle after Buckingham Palace confirmed she tested positive for COVID-19 over the weekend. The palace announced the news on Sunday. But she's thankfully only experiencing mild cold-like symptoms. She is said to have been fully jabbed boosted with that COVID-19 vaccine and is expected to carry out light duties over the coming week. Of course, she is being carefully monitored by Has staff as they take a sensible approach to a positive test. The Daily Mail reported. The palace is being cautious, but he's not alarmed by her mild symptoms, as she plans to continue with light duties this week. However, Her Majesty would have been posted. After all, its own favorite king could dine storm timing it to Montana Hoffa, a long maiden hurdle, and Ukraine Nikki Henderson trained horse, made all the running up towards the 4-6 to win by all around 4.5 lands. The 5-year-old, who was also bred by the Queen, won a race itself well on his debut in May. Henderson excitedly told Racing TV, "I hope that, when it puts a smile on Her Majesty's face, and I do hope he's not feeling too bad. We're all sad to hear Her Majesty has COVID. Well, I don't know if that's medicine, but I hope it stays on. I believe King Kuta'ine has a bright future, and he should make a nice chaser in a year's time, 13 miles, and he's done well to win over this distance. He is not a Tamarla, but in these conditions, you've got to stay well." The Queen has celebrated 3 winners from 17 runners over jumps this season. More about the horse, Henderson said. "We all always knew it was going to be tough. I know I didn't really want to come back to 2 miles with him. That was a pretty competitive race to Ascot on Saturday, over 2.5 miles, which looked nice, and was an option, but we decided to go for this maiden, on this ground. It was far enough for him. He was hard work, but he enjoyed it, and handled it well. This is his only practice, and he should make a 3-mile chaser. I hope you might be a while, the small one." The Queen has had an interest in horses from an early age, and has owned many thoroughbred horses by using them in racing. Her Majesty also hosts the Royal Windsor Horse Show in the grounds of Windsor Park. News of the Queen's COVID infection comes after a number of cases were diagnosed in the team at the monarch's Bakshi residence. It is understood the Queen was well enough to sign off congratulatory message to team base curling medalist at the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympic Games, writing, "I send my warmest congratulations to Team GB's women's cutting team on your outstanding performance in winning the gold medal at the Beijing 2022 Olympic Winter Games. Following the sale of the medal achieved by the men's cutting team yesterday, I know that the local communities and people throughout the United Kingdom will join me in sending all good wishes to you. Yes. Okay, cheers to the friends and family who have supported you and you all great success. Elizabeth." Although not fully recovered, the 95-year-old monarch still wants to fill online ordinances and telephone meetings with only one in-person event likely to be cancelled. What stuff will keep a close eye on her, as she is considerably thinner and frail a year ago, and last week said, "I can't move," as she leaned on a walking stick. BBC reporter Danielle Ralph told the Today program, "The move from the palace is one of caution, but not to alarm," she said. "There are a couple wealthiest aggravating factors here. Firstly, that she's 95 years old, almost 96, and that's a major. She puts that in the vulnerable category. Also, when you see the Queen now, she's considerably thinner and brighter than she was a year ago, and of course she will now have to be carefully monitored. Concerns for the Queen will be heightened, given her age and recent health scare, but she is determined to carry out what task she can despite the virus." Royal expert Rohingya Nakata told the Today program, "I think the signals that came out to Windsor Castle yesterday were quite deliberate in terms of us being told she had mild symptoms. As being told she was walking on that statement, that lovely message to the cutting team yesterday morning, was all trying to sort of calm all fears. I think the mood music coming from the castle is that she is expected to carry on with her engagements this week. All but one in person, which I think she'll cancel, all fingers crossed. Quite reassuring. We've been told by royal sources. There's been a bit of an outbreak, that has been a lot of talk about this bubble around the Queen for a couple of years, which has been very successful, but I think long-term the Queen understood more than anyone it was untenable to continue. It placed a huge demand of pressures on staff, who had to isolate and be away from their families for a long time. So I think she was very sanguine about that, improperly inevitably accepted that she might be at risk at some point. But fingers crossed, she'll be well. she's triple faxed, and carry on. It has come thick and fast for the Queen in the last few days, weeks, and months. She's had a rough boat ride from her family. A lot of hassle in the year that should be celebratory. But when she plows, I was delighted to see that she would have probably had a little bit of good news yesterday with the winner you break, which would have put her up no end. I see plows on with Caliphate missing the car. She's had a rough time of it, and when she goes. And I think she's a great example to her family. Meanwhile, Royal expect committed to Mini, told LBC. Buckingham Palace is saying that she's suffering from mild cold-like symptoms. And statement yesterday very much paid it down. Said that she would be continuing with light duties, and actually a few hours after they released that statement, she sent her warm congratulations to the women and men's curling team over in Beijing. It seems as if there is this sense that it's business as usual. Once again, she appeared and kept calm and carry-on mentality that's become her trademark. They've always been in a form of bubble. She's got her closest aides, and they don't really change, and they've been in that kind of head-down system since 2020. And the Duke of Embarra was enveloped in that. So they'll take every precaution equally, of course. She has access to the best medical care. There are some concerns about her mobility as far as the health is concerned. It was only on Wednesday that she received a couple of minutes the visitors to Windsor Castle, and basically told him she couldn't move, and was quite uncomfortable on a walking stick. But again, as we all have to reiterate, she's 95, and it's easy to take that for granted. But she's gotta have very busy year ahead with the Platinum Jubilee celebrations. She isn't invulnerable, and needs to be taken to preserve her health and energy. I had what is going to be a jam-packed